Is this thing on? Are we live? Are we live? What's up, Disco Ball Nation? How's everybody doing today? It was weird taking Monday off, but boy, migraines, they suck. If you guys don't know, now you know. We're drafting here exclusively on Drafters Fantasy Sports. This is a paid best ball tournament. High stakes, high rewards, a lot of excitement, 20 rounds of intensity, and pure freaking sniping chaos. Sorry, I didn't mean to yell. I'm just really amped. I missed you guys. And by the way, if you have not signed up on Drafters Fantasy Sports, what the hell are you doing with your life? Seriously, sign up. And when you do, use promo code DiscoDrafts1. Get up to $100 matched with your initial deposit. And it's available in Ontario. We're actually drafting from Ontario. So do it. Do it. What are you waiting for? Let me just pull this up real quick. And we're good. All right. So if you're in here in this draft with us right now, let me know in the comments. Are you drafting with us? Let me know in the comments. Who's in here with us? We got 7 people tuning in. People are ready to freaking draft. People are ready to draft. All right. We got the 102. This is draft number. Hold on. We are back. If you know, you know. Hangover. What up? Bonus hole 69. I like it. I like it. Indeed, you are. Oh, thank you. Mark Burns says, I'm with you, brother, at the 11. My man. Good to see it. Quasi Nation. Quasi. Oh, we're on the board. You took Cooper Kupp at the what? Justin Jefferson at the 102. Thank you. Thank you. God is so good. Quasi says, finally made one. I'm glad to have you in here, buddy. Generally missed you. It's great to have you in here. I'm very excited to talk fantasy football and talk about the future of the running back position. If you guys have been tuning in to our streams this year, you guys know this. We called this to a freaking T. And we even told you guys how to pivot and how to play it. We called the Saquon situation. We called the Josh Jacobs situation. And now, if you guys have been drafting since the news broke, you're going to see Zamir White and Eric Gray are skyrocketing in ADP. They are going so early now. And we got them at such an early value. At such an like we got them at the best possible value. They were borderline undrafted when we were getting them. So it pays to follow the program. It pays to listen. It pays to be part of Disco Ball Nation, man. I really do appreciate you guys. And pretty much every shot we called, we've hit. We don't miss. All right, let's catch up with the chat. It's very active today. Lee McKinnon says, I'm still working, brother. Busy week for me before taking time off, but you're on my second monitor. I may be number 2 on your monitor, but you're number 1 in my heart. I love you, Liam. Appreciate you, dog. You're the man. Bonus Hole says, I'm with you at 8. Forgot I changed my name. I like it. Bonus Hole. Cup at Sean Wilson says, Cup at 101. Wow. Yeah, I know. I said the same damn thing. Dirty Mike and the boys. Okay, so yours truly, we're drafting from the 102. Dirty Mike and the boys. How about a soup kitchen? That their Prius looks like a good time. Our good friend Willie, who's also a storm watcher, like he sent me the forecast for my city, and he's like 7 hours away. Shout out to Willie, looking out. Did you see the picture I tagged you on the tweeter? Looked very ominous. We got our good friend Dorsey Bizzle up in the hizzle at 146 $3 minis. You're about to be capped, brother. It's good to see you. You're at the 105. Knifey Spoony, my boy, my man, my dog. Been A1 since day one at the 106. Good to see you, brother. Chris. drafting from the 107. We got Antonio at the 108. Good to see you there, buddy. Quasi at the 110. Sky for the rebound, aka Mark Burns, aka my dog. Toronto Raptors. Let's go. At the 111, it's Amigo at the 112. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is our record, fellas. We got 10 out of 12 disco balls in this draft. Shout out to you guys. You guys are freaking awesome. I appreciate you. And we're about to make our second pick. I'm very excited and speaking with a lot of emphasis. And yeah, we'll take T. Higgins. I've been on a T. Higgins binge around this point. If I have to pick between T. Higgins and Devontae Smith, as of now, I am picking T. Higginson. Brandon Dorsey says Jefferson at 2 and Chase at 3, only in my wettest of dreams. Hey, keep it classy over there, Michigan. We're back on the clock. Okay. We should draft Josh Jacobs. I have zero exposure to Josh Jacobs, and I look to keep it that way. All right. Do I want DK Metcalf or do I want Breece Hall? Breece Hall. I'm going Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall. I like him a lot. Mark Burns says, let's go Ballers. You're a legend. Now, in case you guys didn't know, we are drafting here at Drafters Fantasy Sports. We are currently participating in a $3 mini. First place wins $30,000. There's $200,000 in total winnings. And yes, this is real money fantasy football drafts. This is not a mock draft. We've done 97 real money $3 minis. We've done 8 or 9 now. Drafters 2 millions. Speaking of the Drafters 2 millions, that's a $20 buy-in. First place gets $300,000. There's $2 million in total winnings. It is best ball format. In my humble opinion, it's the most convenient way for you to draft. You have 20 rounds to fill your roster for depth. Each week, a starting lineup is composed of the following positions: 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, and 1 flex. At the end of the week, the best overall performances on your roster will be submitted in your weekly matchup. So no more leaving points on the bench, no more waiver wires, no more trades, none of that garbage. And if you sign up today on Drafters Fantasy Sports using promo code DiscoDrafts1, you get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. All transactions are done in U.S. dollaruskis. Drafters is available in Ontario and all other legal sports betting provinces and states. I'm getting really good at these promos. Really good at these promos. And if you guys didn't know, they also have this thing called a pick'em. A pick'em. I got a little bit of in that. They got a pick'em. So the pick'em is essentially Drafters provides a lot of season-long NFL props. And like you could do this for all sports. It doesn't have to be season-long. Like when the season kicks off, you'll obviously be able to bet on the props over and under by the weeks. So it's really awesome. But right now they got season-long props. Season-long props for the NFL. And about 3 days before the Saquon news. So on Friday, we said that we were going to put some money on whatever the under for Saquon Barkley was and whatever the under for Josh Jacobs was. And we put some money. I'm not going to tell you guys how much, but we put some money. And now it's looking really good. It's looking great. It's terrible for football that Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs are not going to play this year, but it's looking really good. I hope that they can strike a deal, and I'm okay losing that kind of money. But as of now, the bet looks good. What doesn't look good is the situation moving forward for Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs. It was very cool to see the running back community in the NFL speak out against like the change in scenery, in terms of like how the running back is not only like a depreciated value and asset, but also an underappreciated value and asset. And now, don't get me wrong, I understand the business perspective. I get it. You know, the more these guys, they don't last long in the NFL, in particular the running back position. And if you run for 2,000 yards, it's not a good thing in terms of contract negotiations because it just means you have more wear and tear on your body. So it sucks for them. It's absolutely horrible, but it also sucks for football in general. because like if there's any aspiring athlete wanting to play the running back position and is really good at the running back position, could be the next Saquon, could be the next Josh Jacobs, could be the next Sanders, could be the next Emmitt Smith. They're now discouraged to do so, especially if they're capable of doing so, because they're just not going to cash in. Like Jonathan Taylor said it best yesterday, like you give your all, you ball out, you do everything that's asked for, you sell seats, you sell tickets, you put butts in the seats, you sell jerseys, favorite players, you're great in the community, and you don't get rewarded for it because you're a running back. The only players that running backs make more money than in the NFL now are special teamers. And makes more money than what Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs and Tony Pollard and all those guys are looking to make. God, what do I do? What do I do? We're going to take TJ Hawkinson. I hate the pick, but I need to get exposure to him. I don't have any exposure to him. Quasi says they will both play. I hope you're right. Honestly, it'll be terrible for football if both of these guys sit, because like it's going to set a standard and a precedent for things to come, and the NFL is going to have like a very dark cloud over it until this is resolved and there's a resolution. And it sucks. It's horrible. It's like, as a football purist, you don't want to see, the game you love be like turned into like a numbers game ever, unless you're talking about fantasy numbers and statistics. Quasi says they are throwing away 10 million. No, they're not. No, they're not. Because what happens if they get hurt? What happens if they get hurt under the franchise tag? What promise of tomorrow do they have? If you're telling me that guys like Devontae Parker can get $13 million guaranteed, then guys like Saquon Barkley should get guaranteed money. So if you are going to franchise tag running backs, give them like super exaggerated and boosted incentives. Because if you don't give them super exaggerated and boosted incentives, what the hell's the point of going out there and giving their all and playing while they're hurt and like grinding it out for your team? Saquon Barkley was responsible for 40% of the New York Giants offense last year. That's like saying, okay, I have 52 classmates. We're all doing a class project. I did 40%. The other 52 classmates, I did 40% of the work on the project. The other 52 classmates, they contributed a total of 60%. They all get an A, and I get a D. How does that make any sense? How does that make any sense? Like, I understand the business aspect where it's like it's a depreciating asset, and like I get it. So only way you can counter the like depreciation asset is if you give them incentives to play for that are exaggerated, because that's the only way you can overcome the hump and like the discrepancy between, what's fair and paying the running backs what's fair and what's not. And what's not fair is, guys like Devontae Parker, because the wide receiver market is significantly higher than the running backs market, is getting paid more money this season than Austin Eckler, Saquon Barkley, and Tony Pollard. And if it doesn't change this year, if it does not change this year, then guys like Jonathan Taylor, all the stud running backs who are going to be due for contracts, Najee Harris, like if they get franchise tagged, they're screwed because it's only going to be less. So each NFL team on average, obviously there's exceptions, but on average make roughly $800 to $900 million a year in revenue. On average. You're telling me you couldn't throw in an extra $5 to $10 million in the salary cap, Mr. Goodell? Just looking at my outfit and the backdrop, I look like a giant fucking blueberry right now. I look like something out of Willy Wonka, 6'8" Oompa Loompa kind of shit. Just taking it off. Mark Burns says, I worry about guys that miss training camps and getting soft season. It's what happened to Debo last year. It's an excellent point. It's what happened to Debo last year. I almost just took Kyle Pitts, almost forgetting that we have TJ Hawkinson. I hate that TJ Hawkinson pick. We'll take Dameon Pierce here. Is it me or quarterbacks going earlier and earlier these days? Like what's happening? Trevor Lawrence, Justin Herbert, like the reaches on these quarterbacks is crazy. All right. We'll go with Kadarius Toney. All right, let's catch up on everybody's draft. See how everybody's doing. Dirty Mike and the boys. He's got Jamar Chase. He got Jamar Chase at the 103. What a crazy world. Chris Olave, DK Metcalf, Christian Kirk, Deontay Johnson, Trevor Lawrence, Rachaad White. So his 0 RB start is going to benefit. I think he's fine for the next like 3 or 4 rounds, not going at wide receiver. So he's going to get potentially like a high upside tight end and some pretty good value and depth at the running back position. I do like his start. 5 solid wide receivers off the rip. It's cool. And then he's got a top tier quarterback too with Trevor Lawrence. Willie's got CMC, Derrick Henry. I like that start. Deebo Samuel, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields. Wow. I like that. I like that move. That's a ballsy move. George Pickens, James Conner. Bonus Hole says, this is my first single QB draft in like 2 years. Got to get back into it. All right. Word of advice. You need to, one, make sure that you have more than one quarterback because it's best ball format. And if you don't have more than one quarterback, you're shooting yourself in the foot. So get a backup quarterback and make sure your backup quarterback doesn't have the same bye week. Okay? Just a word of advice. But yeah, I've been eyeing your team. I'll get to it. It looks good. You're no joke. You're no slouch. You know your shit. I like it. So Willie goes CMC, Derrick Henry, Deebo Samuel, Joe Burrow, Justin Fields. That is crazy. That is crazy. Did you know the winning lineup last year had both Patrick Mahomes and Jalen Hurts? Getting quarterbacks at this value is so crucial and so key. Then he gets George Pickens and James Conner. Cool. You really need to start ramping up on your wide receivers, but I love this. I love this. Dorsey, Tyreek Hill, Tony Pollard, Patrick Mahomes. Quite possibly top 3 at all 3 positions, running back, wide receiver, and quarterback. Great start. Terry McLaurin, Aaron Jones, Jackson Smith and Jigba, DeAndre Swift. What are you rocking? Like a 1-3-3 start so far? I like it. Knifey Spoony goes Travis Kelce, Jonathan Taylor, Ramondre Stevenson. That's a hot start. Then goes wide receiver crazy. DJ Moore, Brandon Ayuk, Jahan Dotson, Jordan Addison. That is great value. Knifey, you get better by the draft, buddy. You are crushing it. I love it. I love it. Chris, are you in here, bud? Chris goes Austin Eckler, Mark Andrews, Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, Tyler Lockett. 3 receivers who I am fading heavily. But like this would give you like this combination of receivers could potentially win it for you if they all ball out. Miles Sanders, Alvin Kamara, Deshaun Watson. I like your start. Antonio, the new man, bonus hole. He goes Stephon Diggs, Jalen Waddle, Josh Jacobs, Najee Harris, Justin Herbert, Michael Pittman, Dallas Goedert, Alan Lazard. Very solid, man. For your first draft on Drafter Sports, very, very solid start. How are you liking the app? And how are you enjoying your first draft? Let me know. AJ Brown. Oh, sorry. We're on the Clockamundo, Bruno. Slider view. All right. We'll go James Cook because I can't get enough exposure to him. And then we'll wait to see what this guy is a wild man taking Cooper Kupp at the 101. Like, just wait for another draft where that's his 3rd draft. He's going, what a wild man. Cooper Kupp, the 101. Crazy. All right. Then he goes Jameson Williams and Cortland Sutton. All right. I feel like if I don't get a quarterback now, I might regret it. And there's not. Okay. We'll go with best quarterback available, even though there's zero correlation with what we have so far. And we'll take Dak Prescott. I mean, I hope Kirk Cousins will fall back to us. He should, based off of ADP. But knowing that I'm drafting with you guys, I'm probably going to get sniped like no tomorrow. But yeah, I'm okay with our start. I like our start. So Quasi, the two-time. So if you don't know why Quasi is the two-time, in one of these tournaments last year, Quasi finished first and second place. So if he was doing the drafters $3 mini this year and he won the $3 mini, he would win 30,000 and 15,000. So 45,000. And he's Canadian. So that's American. It's American Dollaruskis. 45K American. That's why he's the two-time. We used to call him Queso Dip before we knew he was a two-time. We used to call him Cheesy. There's nothing cheesy about the two-time. He's the real deal O'Neal. And he's here with us. He's in Disco Ball Nation. And that's why you should be here too. He's just here to school us on like how it's done. Quasi goes AJ Brown, Saquon Barkley. That's not how it's done, buddy. Jahmyr Gibbs. I like Jahmyr Gibbs. Christian Watson, love the pick. Kenneth Walker, also like Kenneth Walker in round 5 is an absolute shame. Like it's a slap in the face. He is so primed and he's so good. Like just look at the underdog props, look at Vegas props, look at the drafters pick'em props. Look at what the projections are. He's projected right now at around 1,200 yards over under, right? If that's the standard and that's what they're projecting him for, why the hell is he going off the board in round 5? Couldn't tell you. Great value there. George Kittle, Brandon Cooks, Rashad Bateman. As always, very solid. Sky for rebound. What's up? CeeDee Lamb, Garrett Wilson, Josh Allen, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin. So 0 RB in the first 5 rounds. Then goes J.K. Dobbins, David Montgomery, Darren Waller. Solid. Very solid. I love drafting with you. It's Amigo. What's up, buddy? I haven't seen you. Where are you? It's Amigo. Are you in the stream? Good to see you, buddy. Amon St. Brown, Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb around the bend. You're a wild man. Lamar Jackson, Jerry Jeudy, Hollywood Brown, Cam Akers, Treylon Burks, Quentin Johnson. Very solid. Bless you. My wife just sneezed. Dorsey said Charbonnet, LOL. I know. I'm laughing out loud too. You guys think that like Charbonnet is going to come and replace Kenneth Walker? No, he's going to spell him. He's going to spell him. It's going to be a 1A, 1B. Yes, there's going to be games where Charbonnet balls out, but that is, and like obviously Kenneth Walker is not going to ball out, but like that's no reason for you to fade him at all. Like because there's a second running back there means that he's going to have fresher legs and have more explosive runs. That's all it is. They are going to run the rock more than, a lot of teams. They're going to be top 5 in rush attempts. Pete Carroll's not going to reinvent the wheel. Like that's what he does. They run the ball and they run the ball a lot. So both of them can eat. That's why we have like your dual, double stack at running back theory. That's why it works, because the NFL is going to this like, we're going to draft a running back late, and we'll draft another running back late, and we'll give the ball to the hot hand, to the young, fresh legs. And they both fit the mold. So yeah, 5th round, crazy. I do understand because it's best ball and it's PPR. That's why like running backs get pushed, but 5th round is crazy to me. Absolutely crazy. All right, yours truly. We go Justin Jefferson at the 102. Sick. T. Higgins, Breece Hall, Mike Williams, TJ Hawkinson, Damian Pierce in round 6. Pierce in round 6. Kadarius Toney, James Cook, Dak Prescott. And we're coming up on the clock. And we're going to take one of our favorite tight ends, Pat Freiermuth. So we're good at tight end. We got TJ Hawkinson and we got Pat Freiermuth. Antonio, you sniped me, but you took Kirk Cousins from me. I like it. You're a savage. Just trying to see if I got like, oh, my running back situation is rough. Week 7 and week 13 is going to be tough for this lineup. All right, we need a good running back to carry us in week 7 along with James Cook. So Brian Robinson in round 11. Like my most drafted player overall, Brian Robinson. At that value, I'll keep drafting him. If anything happens to him, shame on me, but like I'm not going to pass on him. And in other news, another guy we called, remember that name, Deneric Prince? Don't worry, I'll wait for somebody to comment. Remember when I said Deneric Prince? Deneric Prince. Do you guys remember when I said Deneric Prince? Let me know. I'll hydrate. I'm feeling parched. But Deneric Prince. Just remember you heard it here first. My wife got these like ice cube trays that are like perfect for this big ass shaker cup. Instead of doing like these little tiny ice cubes that like go down the hatch or go down the wrong hole, pause. She got me these like big brick ice cubes that you just plop in and it keeps your water cold for like the whole day. It's amazing. So refreshing. And yeah, I don't like fizzy water. So Andrew Tate's not going to like me because I don't like bougie water. I think it tastes like TV static. It's my opinion. if TV static had a flavor, it would be bougie water. That fuzzy fizzy water. Can't do it. Can't do it. Bonus hole says you heard Leander Miller done for next year. You mean Kendre Miller? He's not done for next year. He's not. They just got him on a player unable to perform or participate list, the PUP list. He had a knee surgery because he got injured. I want to say in TCU's playoff game last year. I think it was an MCL tear or sprain. One of them. Anyways, he's just not participating right now because he's like on track to be ready for the season. He may miss a couple of weeks, but like I assure you, towards the end of the season, he's going to be balling out and he's going to be going crazy. I love me some Kendre Miller, and I hope he plays because I have a lot of exposure to him. Unless something came out saying that, like, I don't know, he like tore his groin or whatever. But yeah, like unless something comes out, still very high on Kendre Miller. All right. So we can't take. I was thinking to myself, who should I take as my next quarterback? I'm just eyeing it so I could just stack high value positions like running back and wide receiver because I already have 2 tight ends. I was looking at Aaron Rodgers, even though Sky for Rebound already got him. I was thinking Aaron Rodgers, but it wouldn't have worked because we would have had a bye week conflict. So we're gonna have to wait. Week 7, so many buys in week 7. Now we're gonna tell you guys once again what we're doing and where we're doing it at. We're drafting exclusively on Drafters Fantasy Sports. This is not a mock draft. This is a real money, high stakes draft. It's a $3 buy-in. First place gets $30,000. Not bad for a $3 investment. There's $200,000 in total winnings. So even if you finish in like 300th place, you'd still win a nice chunk of moolah. And then there's also the Drafters 2 million. Don't know what the hell I just did, but here it is. The Drafters 2 million. First place gets $300,000. There's $2 million in total winnings. Also pretty sick. We are doing it in best ball format. It's the most convenient way for you to draft. You have 20 rounds to fill your roster for depth. Each week, a starting lineup is composed of the following positions: 1 quarterback, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 tight end, 1 flex, at the end of the week, the best overall performances will be applied to your weekly matchup. So say you got, let's look at Quasi's lineup. So he's got Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. Say, I know I said Kendre Miller, but hold the phone. DJ Chark, do. Yeah, like me some DJ Chark. Wow, that guy picked his picks really pickily. We'll take Tyler Algier. Sorry if I'm slurring my words. I was up at like a god awful, super early, stupid time, so forgive me. But yeah, so let's look at Quasi's lineup. He has Daniel Jones and Geno Smith. Daniel Jones has a bye week on week 13. Geno Smith week 5. So they're both playing on week 7. Say Daniel Jones has a horrible day in week 7 and Geno Smith goes absolutely crazy. Instead of you having to be concerned about like, who the hell do I start and who the hell do I sit, or damn it, I left points on the bench. None of that happens. What this does is it takes the best overall performance in your weekly matchup and applies it to your weekly matchup at all positions. So all the positions we named earlier, the 3 wide receivers, the 2 running backs, the 1 flex, the tight end, the 1 quarterback, it will take the best overall performances based off of the depth that you drafted with and apply it to your weekly matchup. Get it? Got it? Good. Now, if you sign up today using promo code DiscoDrafts1, you get up to $100 match with your initial deposit. Friendly reminder, all transactions are done in US dollars, and we're drafting here from Ontario. The two-time, he's from Ontario. Quasi, he won first and second last year. The two-time. He says Ontario strong. You're from Waterloo, right, Quasi? How's everybody's draft going? You guys having a good draft? Just checking out everybody's draft. CeeDee Lamb. Yeah, everybody's doing good. Antonio, this is his first time. I like it. So if you guys had to pick between Eric Gray and Matt Breida, who would it be? I'm waiting. If you guys had to pick between Amir Abdullah, is it Amir Abdullah? It's one of the Abdullahs. And who else is the other running back there? And other than Zamir White? Yeah, Zamir White. Who'd you pick? We've been drafting a lot of Zamir White. We've been drafting a lot of Eric Gray. We called it from the jump. Now, even if Saquon Barkley and Josh Jacobs do decide to sign, they are not going to be in, I'm not going to say in shape because both of these guys are elite athletes, but they're not going to be in game shape. They're not going to be like game ready, because if you miss camp, if you miss that anatomical adaptation, which is reps, right? There's a certain amount of reps that you need to have in order to get that mind-muscle connection where it just becomes natural. It's called anatomical adaptation. There's a certain amount of reps you need to accomplish to get that. And if they miss training camp or a significant portion of training camp, regardless of what happens, Eric Gray and Zamir White are still going to fill in, and they're still going to get their touches, and they're still going to play. And they're going to play at a relatively high level because they're both desirable players and desirable backs. They fit the mold of what the NFL is trying to build around when it comes to the running back position, which is like a late round tweener. It's pretty cool. And we got 15, 18% of both of those guys. It's pretty great. So this draft, what I'm going to do, since Eric Gray is going to start skyrocketing, and since Zamir White's already going to start skyrocketing, we're going to look for the Abdullah guy. We're going to look for the Breida guy. We're going to try to get exposure to the other guys. It's just how we do. You got to stay ahead of your competition. You got to call and predict your shots. Tell yourself a story on how you perceive the season's going to go, and then draft based off of it and stick to your guns, right? You can't just, everybody and their mom is drafting based off of what happened last year. That's how you lose a lot of money in these best ball tournaments. Last year is last year. A lot has changed in terms of the whole dynamic of the NFL. A lot has changed. So just look at every team, look at the roster, tell yourself a story. Like, how are they going to perform? Who's going to control the clock more, them or their opposition? What is their division's strength and weaknesses? Because that's 6 games there. And then, like, you have a good shot of improving the way you draft. We've also, like, we've literally taken everything that I just mentioned and put it on paper, like pen and paper. And by paper, I mean, like, we got our draft guide, we got our rules, our tips. All right. I'm going to get Tyquan Thornton here. And if this guy grabs Stafford or Kenny Pickett or both of them, then he is the most wild human being to ever exist. I'll catch up on the chat in a sec. Oh, this guy's taking his Ash Kletch. How do you pronounce that? I know I struggled to pronounce baseball player's name, but this one's just different. All right. Do I want my second quarterback to be Matt Stafford or Kenny Pickett? Who do I have more faith in? Kenny Pickett, because I have Pat Freiermuth. So we have some sort of correlation there. I'm okay with that. Bonus Hole says he'd pick Zamir White. Yeah, for sure. Brandon Dorsey said this one's solid. You're solid. Sean Wilson says great for sure. Exactly. Quasi says I'm using Spike Week tools to draft a weekly team stack optimized build. Every week has at least one player playing another player that I've rostered. Am I too tired to process? I'm using the Spike Week tools to draft a weekly team stack optimized build. Got it. Okay. Every week has at least one player playing another player I've rostered. So, like, you're playing the whole what's the thing called when what's that mathematical equation? There's a mathematical equation where you're playing the odds on both ends and you're using the Spike Week tools to get there. I like it. I think it's a unique approach. But you also have to implement, the human feel. Stop being so robotic. I know you're the 2-time, but that's crazy. That's why, like, I like the idea of the tool, but, like, even when Bernie was on here speaking to us, he said the draft he won the $30,000 with, he didn't have his tools present. Mike W, that's Dirty Mike and the Boys, says accidentally auto drafted Goff, who shares my QB1's buy. I mean, it's still not bad because, like, week 9, Kyler Murray should be there, so you should be fine. But, like, what it does is it affects the rest of your lineup. Who would you have gone with instead of Goff? Asking for a friend, because, like, Elijah Mitchell would have been a great asset, or it would have been Brian Robinson. I don't know. Quasi said basically every week I have a bring back player. I like that idea. Mark Burns says Quasi playing 3D chess here as I play checkers. You guys are playing chess and checkers. I'm out here playing fantasy football. Best ball football on Drafters Fantasy Sports with the Disco Ball Nation. Mike W says anyone else? So I don't think you share the same sentiment as Dorsey and Amigo, where you're a Lions fan. It's rough out here. Willie, you're a Seahawks fan, right? You said you were a Seahawks fan, Willie? Sky for rebound. Mark, who's your NFL team? I know Knifey likes the Giants. I have no idea who Chris likes either. I think he might like the Patriots, but I also think he likes fantasy football more. Antonio, who's your favorite NFL team? We're Pats Nation in this house. We love our Patriots. Love our Patriots. Dirty Mike and the boys. Who's your NFL team? I want to know. Let me know. I think Quasi's favorite NFL team is Elon Musk. that's the world Quasi's in. He's on another level. The way that like he can digest information and then utilize it in such a unique way is crazy. Like you gotta keep your secrets, bro. Like this is like the formula for the 2-time. I don't think I'm smart enough to like sit down and correlate that. Now, surely the app or not the app, but the Spike Week tool would be beneficial in terms of getting around the whole concept of monitoring what you're doing and what you're keeping up with. But yeah, I'd rather just draft off of feel. Jeff Wilson in round 16, and like he should be going earlier than that. Dude is he's a number 1 running back, and he's been going way later than around 16. Bonkers. Boggles my mind. All right. Slider view. All right. Okay. I told myself this week I want to start getting correlation, or not correlation. I just want to start getting some shares of Mike Gesicki. I hate him. Don't love him. Not a big Gesicki guy. He burnt me last year, but I'm drafting him. I need to get some sort of exposure to Mike Gesicki. All right. We will go with, I got way too much John Mechie. Oh, best available. I have to. Once again, we don't have too much correlation or pretty much any correlation on this team other than, I think, Kenny Pickett. Yes, he can. And Pat Freiermuth. We got Justin Jefferson and TJ Hawkinson. Yeah. Tyquan Thornton and Mike Gesicki. That's it. That's our correlation. We have no stacks, no double stacks, and no potential for a double stack because I'm not reaching on Abinaconda or Zamir Knight. I have way too many shares of both of them. Not Zamir. What was his name? Something Knight. Mark Burns says, don't really have a favorite team, but being so close to Buffalo, I will say them. DFS changed to cheer for players, not teams. Man, I love me some DFS. Question mark, do you do DFS? Like, have you done NFL DFS on drafters before? Because like I'm a big DFS guy, and I have not done NFL DFS on drafters yet. This is like my first year with drafters, so I'm super like excited to see what it's like. So out of curiosity, if you have done daily fantasy on drafters, let me know how it is. Let me know how you like the UI and the interaction. Bonus hole. Antonio, he's a Jets fan. I like you, but like at least 2 weeks this year, we're going to be like mortal enemies. And I hope you're okay with that. He said, I might be getting tickets to Jets Patriots this year. Dang. Sorry, I just got to check something. Chris said his chat's not working. So if you so I'll tell you what's wrong with your chat, Chris, so you can type it in the chat. I appreciate you texting me that. See, I like you enough to stop and respond. What you got to do is you got to close the stream and then reopen the stream and then not click the X button and just participate in the chat, and it'll be fine. Sean Wilson says, Disco, do you ever drive 10 minutes into Quebec and use DraftKings? No. So, like with all of these sports apps, they have to verify your address. Like you have to verify like your identity. So my address is an Ontario address. So even if I'm in Quebec, it still wouldn't work. So it's fine. I don't need DraftKings. I mean, I do use the sports book. I like their sports book. Holla at your boy if you want to, do some sports book stuff. I like DraftKings and their sports book. It's a good sports book. But other than that, not really. What's your favorite sports book out there? Asking for a friend. Asking for a friend. So, like, Bonus Hole says he's okay with us being mortal enemies 2 weeks in the season because he's a Jets fan and I'm a diehard Patriots fan. Oh, we're on the clock. Slider view. All right. All right, we're just gonna go high ceiling players with Wandale Robinson, and then we're just gonna pull up a couple running backs. I think we're gonna go 2 running backs to finish off the draft. We should actually probably get another quarterback. Thinking about it. Yeah, we need another quarterback. So CJ Stroud's gone. So CJ Stroud wouldn't have worked for us because we're already having a week 7 problem. So we'll grab Jimmy Garoppolo. Once again, no correlation. Jimmy Garoppolo starts. So round 19 snag for us. So I like it. And like, I hate doing this, but we're going 3, 6, 8, 3. Yeah. It is what it is. Chris Mars says Broncos. You figured it out. You got it sorted. See, I'm no technical genius, but I know my YouTube. Mark Burns says, I have played the weekly tournaments on drafters during the season, but just a couple entries for fun to support the product. Good for you. What okay, hold on. Quasi says the rule is if you don't draft while in Ontario, you can't play on Underdog or DraftKings. So wait, like they don't have to verify your address? Dorsey says FanDuel is usually my go-to. I loved FanDuel and used to use DFS on FanDuel all the time. And then they left Ontario. And when they left Ontario, my account just like went to poof. And every time I try to like set a new account, they say, oh, you have an existing account, but we can't open up your account. I have money on my FanDuel account. FanDuel, what the hell? So I can't use FanDuel anymore. Mark Burns says I use DK Sportsbook because I had an account with them already from my DFS days. Fair. Sean Wilson says we went to Quebec skiing last winter and DraftKings DFS worked as soon as we hit Gatineau. I'm like a 25-minute drive away from Gatineau. When's the next time you're coming to these here parts, boy? Would love to host you. Would love to have a brewski with you. Maybe take you out for a nice steak dinner. I don't know why I'm speaking like that. Quasi says they don't care. Okay. I mean, this is nice information for anybody else who's interested if they're like an Ontario auto resident and close to the Quebec border, close to the Les Separatistes, and they want to go over to the dark side. We call Quebec the dark side here in Ottawa. Yeah, we call Quebec the dark side. So they go over to the dark side. They could use these other apps, but we don't want to go over to the dark side because we're happy with our app. Our app is freaking awesome. We love drafters. So you could go to the dark side and do stupid shit, or you could stay here with us and do awesome stuff with drafters. Yeah, because like those other assholes, they left Ontario. You know who didn't? Drafters. They're loyal. Honestly, that should be the slogan. Hi, we're drafters and we're loyal. Fuck, I'm sold. Quasi says as long as the draft happens outside of Ontario. Fair enough. Good to know. Good to know. So I like Bet365. That's my sports book of choice. I like Bet365. Love me some Bet365. Denoric Prince, I see you, knifey spoony. That did not go unnoticed. You listen, and because you listen, I love you. I love you a lot. Denoric Prince is Isaiah Pacheco of last year, and if you guys haven't heard, Isaiah Pacheco's hurt. He may miss a significant portion of the season. So guess whose value skyrocketed? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He is now the favored to be the starting back there again. And then Denoric Prince, he's just gonna come out of nowhere, and he's gonna wow some folks. Oh wow, you guys like clean up all the running backs. Oh god. Oh god. Fudge it. We'll take Israel Abanikanda. Chris Marr says Jerick McKinnon. Nope. McKinnon's dead. He had an unreal 5-week span, but then we get to the playoffs where carries mattered and things actually mattered, and he disappeared. He was completely irrelevant when they got to the playoffs. Sean Wilson said, good draft, fellas. Some stacked-looking teams here. Gentleman and a scholar. Chris Marr said, who scored 10 TDs last year. Once again, last year's last year. We're leaving last year behind us. If you're holding on to last year, get as much Saquon Barkley and Jerick McKinnon and Josh Jacobs as you'd like. We're on to newer and bigger and better things, buddy. You can't hold on to last year. Last year's last year. He's a 32-year-old running back. He had 4 or 5 weeks where he had tremendously high success rate. And it wasn't due to volume. And to be successful, you need volume on a weekly basis. Like I'm talking about his floor, right? So his spike weeks and his elite performances that won many people leagues last year was due to just scheming. But it's not going to be there every single week. It disappeared in the playoffs. The Jacksonville Jaguars were one of the worst teams against the run. They were one of the worst teams against the receiving running back, and they shut him down. It's just one of those things where it's like, yes, the numbers look nice, the 10 touchdowns, the ridiculous amount of yards that he put together, it all looks nice, but it's not doable. You want somebody who's going to tote the rock, especially in the red zone area. And I'm not saying CEH is a red zone beast, but like CEH for the first 5-6 weeks, he was crushing things. Do not sleep on him, especially because it's a contract year. Not saying that like the contract for the running backs matter anymore. But yeah. Chris Marr says Andy Reid is loyal. Bonus Hole 69 says good draft. All first of many. Absolutely, buddy. Thank you for joining us, man. This was fun. Can't wait to draft with you again. Chris Marr says thank you for the money. Hey, man. Your kid's a fan of me, and I'm a fan of your kid. So what better way of being a fan of you and your son than supporting his college fund? You're welcome. You're welcome. So let's wrap up with our draft. We got Dak Prescott, Kenny Pickett. Yes, he can. Jimmy Garoppolo, Breece Hall, Dameon Pierce, James Cook, Brian Robinson, Tyler Algier, Israel Abanikanda, Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Mike Williams, Kadarius Toney, DJ Chark, Tyquan Thornton, John Mechie, Wan'Dale Robinson, TJ Hawkinson, Pat Freiermuth, Mike Gesicki. We got some unique correlation there. It's not my favorite draft. Not my favorite draft. I think the reason why I dislike the draft, because we are solid at every position, is I'm not happy with the quarterback situation. But we do have unique correlation. I just want to see something. I want to see where Zamir White went in round 17. So he was borderline round 20, undraftable. Eric Gray gone in round 20. So he's not jumping up, at least for this draft. Nobody's like, hey, give me Eric Gray. And then Denoric Prince sighting. That's cool to see. These are all things we've been doing. Quasi says they didn't renew CH fifth year option. I'm fading him mostly. Yeah, but just because they didn't renew his fifth year option doesn't mean he's not playing for a contract elsewhere. Right. And even if he's playing for like a contract elsewhere, like we're not talking about like he's looking to break the running back value. He's going to pull a Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders was faded heavily last year and he signed the bag, and now I'm fading him heavily because he got paid. But when I knew he was on contract here, I'm like, yep, got to get me some Miles Sanders. Chris Mars says he comes back from Sweden tomorrow. Looking forward to having both of you back in the stream. I think it would be cool to have him see you draft with us. That would be super dope. Good night, buddy. Take care, fellas. That was fun. I enjoyed myself. It was really fun. If you guys haven't yet, please subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Helps me achieve my dreams. It's pretty dope. We've come a long way, but we haven't come this far to only come this far. So I appreciate you guys. We'll see you at the same time, same place, 8 p.m. Eastern time tomorrow. I got to stop doing this like the same time, same place tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We might do a Drafters $3 mini. We might do a Drafters 2 milli. Who knows? Tune in next time to find out. I've been watching Hunters. I don't know if you guys watched Hunters on Prime. Al Pacino's accent, spot on. I love it. Love it. Such a good show. Peace.